welcome back to Koppai Productions, one of our review discussions for Miitomo, the first Nintendo mobile game on iPhone, Android, Motorola, Razr, BlackBerry, Windows 10. Actually, I think it's just iOS and Android right now, and probably forever. Maybe Windows. It's not Windows 10, is it?
I don't think so.
No. I am one of your hosts, Kaz and Risk, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach Risk. We're apart again, but we are together still. Yeah, Zach, say hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing
You doing
great.
good?
Playing Miitomo.
Are you playing Miitomo right now?
No, not at the
Oh,
moment. Not
okay.
this exact moment, but I
I thought
was like about an hour ago or so, probably.
we'll pair on IGN on Nintendo Voice Chat. I watched Nintendo Voice Chat last night. We're filming on Saturday. This will go up on Monday, and he was accepting friend requests while he was
Oh.
doing the Nintendo Voice Chat because he had so many. Which we'll talk about the whole concept of friends and all that later. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about with Miitomo. We're going to be here for hopefully about a half hour. We said the same thing about our Pokken review discussion, and we sat down for an hour, and we still missed out on a lot of things to talk about. And so. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'd say this isn't quite as in depth as
Well,
Pokken.
yeah, Pokken was a little bit more extreme than
Yeah.
what Miitomo is. But there's lots of things to discuss, and I think the first thing I just want to talk about is the initial impressions. We've kind of talked about impressions in the past.
hmm
You were able to download the game on your Android phone, the Japan version, and while you didn't connect it to your Nintendo account, you had a feel for the game. I think just on Wednesday was able to finally download the Japan version on my iOS device by creating a Japan account, which may come in handy for future Nintendo releases. So I thought it was nice to have a Nintendo or a Japan um, Apple account with one of my other emails. And so we've had impressions in the past and have kind of been getting a pretty good feel for the game. But what are your thoughts now? Initial impressions, we'll get into the nitty gritty later, of just when you first picked up Miitomo, when you linked up your My Nintendo account, which was also along the launch of My Nintendo, and we can talk about that in this review as well. What was like the first thoughts that you had?
I thought that it was very user friendly, very
Mm-hmm.
easy to use for like anyone to pick it up. I thought that it was uh one irk I had initially, like right off the bat, was that it just seemed like some loading times were a bit maybe long.
Yeah, my
Other than
fiance commented on that. I told her to download the game so she could play with me,
yeah,
and she almost just like was like, "This isn't even
yeah,
worth it." This
Kayla
is
Kayla also immediately did the same thing when it was loading up that first initial boot, which is probably I think the longest it
like
takes to
yeah,
actually
like
get
a minute or
started.
two almost, which in loading
Yeah,
times is forever.
yeah. And for such a fairly lightweight seeming app for the most part, I mean, it does have quite a bit of like assets. The graphics are really good. It has a nice polish to it. Everything looks really great. But I mean, it's not. I mean, I would think there's games that are on the iOS shop or the Apple Store and on the Google Play Store that are um, way more
Mm-hmm.
extensive and full of things that are quicker to boot up and load and everything. So I
Yeah.
thought that was a little strange. And then like every time like I'll go out of the app for a split second, come back in, and it has me at the loading screen for a
and
few
and not
seconds.
only not only a loading screen, but usually a loading screen made longer by the fact that it's also loading usually one of your friends or yourself doing like a little dance or something.
Yeah,
And so like I came back and I have a friend who's a little shorter, so they made their me really short, and like the person was like rolling on the floor, but it was just like their head. It was all I
yeah.
could see, and I'm like, what is happening?
hmm
And we'll talk about that once again later. Like there's some details about that, but yeah, so long loading screen, but you get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I get into it and really like the clothing options and just the questions are fun, I have to say. Like
Hmm.
just kind of sitting there, and that's really what most of the game is built around, is just you kind of answering questions that your me asks you or listening to what your other friends have answered to questions. And I just think it's kind of a mindless, pretty fun little thing
Hmm.
to, when you have a few minutes or something, to like just sitting on the toilet, for example, is what I've done several
Yeah,
times.
on
And I just am like, oh, I'll answer a couple questions real quick, and it's like it's perfect, really. And then you
it
can like
really is.
see some quirky little thing like that you said or something, and then respond with a quirky little comment, and then earn some points, and maybe do a little Miitomo drop or something like that.
Yeah, Miitomo
So
drop is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say backtracking a little bit. I downloaded it, was very shocked at how long it took to install and load. I thought I honestly like I glitched out or something,
Uh-huh.
and then I exited out of it, closed the app, and reloaded it, and it's just a long load, which then made it start all over. So yeah, that was really weird. Um, they'll probably optimize that in the future. I mean, the Wii U had pretty long load times when it first came out, and Nintendo optimized it later to make it quicker.
Yeah.
Seems to be a low priority for them. They're like, you'll get into the app sooner or later. What's the wait?
Hmm.
Um, was very impressed with how easily it synced up. It was one of the very first intuitive, like you said, user-friendly Nintendo apps or products to be like, plug in your Facebook, plug in your Twitter, plug in your Nintendo ID. Like
Yeah.
you got your Google Plus, you're in, you're go, you're connected everywhere. It was like seamless, very quick. I went to the My Nintendo website while I was in class on my iPad, booted it all up and stuff while my teacher was doing their lecture. They actually they may start listening to this because their son's a big Nintendo fan. So sorry, professor, um, but yeah, so I booted it all up and stuff, and it was just really quick to get like my rewards, my points. I was very impressed that like I changed my outfit immediately in Miitomo to something that I liked and
Mm.
I was able to buy with my initial startup coins. And it immediately rewarded me with those platinum coins. And then immediately on the website, that was already updated. No codes, no surveys like the previous Club Nintendo. It was just like, all right, you got your points. Your points are there, you know? And
Yeah.
so that was my kind of first impression was almost beyond the app was just the
Hmm.
fact that this was also an introductory game for the My
Hmm.
Nintendo system and it's just
Yeah.
like finally this is the PlayStation Network that we've been waiting for with Nintendo. This
Hmm.
is I have my username, I have all my information. It knows what games I'm doing. It knows when I'm changing my outfits, which it sounds weird that I'm like giggling and getting all excited about that. Like Nintendo knows that I just answered a question and they gave me a reward for it when you have like every other service doing that for years. But for Nintendo, that was such a huge step forward for that connectivity.
Hmm.
And so that was my first impression, and I'm very impressed with that service and very impressed with um, the just the system they have in place for Miitomo and what seems to be like their system going in place with rewards and the kind of new Club Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the answers and the questions and all that are basically the core of the game, and we've known that for a while. And we've heard impressions from people that it's not really a game; it's more social networking, but it's also not in real time. But it's hard to explain. And yeah, it is just it's a question and answers app and surprisingly, though, that's very addictive for me anyway. And like
Hmm.
you, I think you would agree. I mean, I look at your Miitomo. I can pull mine up here if it doesn't drain my battery by the time we're done recording the podcast. My little guy right now is wearing a sweatshirt and a little cat skirt. I thought I
Yeah,
would.
you should see what my guy's wearing.
Oh, wait, here I'll
It's
pull you
pretty
up real quick.
ridiculous.
Friends. But yeah, so really, really addictive. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting distracted now by opening it up. It's so fun. It's so you're just naked.
I shouldn't be, but I did take off my clothes earlier, but I have changed since then, and so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Maybe it hasn't updated for you yet or something. But yeah, I was in my boxers for just a little bit, but now
yeah.
I'm in a pretty elaborate outfit. But
Yeah, your guy's naked on my screen, so you're like, you should check out what I'm wearing. I go to your place, and you're just completely naked wandering the apartment. But but yeah, so that's really clever too. You have the questions and answers. You have the outfits. Like my fiance was like, "Hey, go check out my me outfit, because I really want an outfit like that in real life." And it was like a cute little jean jacket and a skirt and stuff. And like I could see my fiance wearing something like that, and so it's just like, oh, that's like really reflective of your character and now she wants to go find a real life outfit like that and it's kind of cute to see how that's like her me is reflecting her like fashion style but now she wants to reflect that in real life and
Mhm.
like my guy has a little like varsity leather jacket and stuff and I've had him also wear kind of like more I don't know, very like keen to like my hipster kind of style. You commented, I think, on one of my things.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going with more of a silly route with my guy wearing a skirt, just because I wanted to get the reward points for changing my outfit for the day. So
Yeah, I'm wearing a geometric skirt right now and like some weird button-up shirt that has like I think it has buses and cars and stuff on it or something. It's like really weird combo.
I wonder why your guy isn't updated. Yeah, I was wearing the pastry shirts for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Well, no, the pastry pants. I was trying to get the pastry shirt in
Miitomo
Miitomo
drop.
drop, but it's so hard to get that middle one. I don't know how to
Yeah.
get it. And so if anyone has a trick in the comments, they can
Well, and
leave
it's so
that. Or
cool that there's like so many Miitomo drops. Like, and it seems like they keep adding them or something. I'm not sure
yeah,
like
yeah,
how that
yeah,
goes, but
yeah, we'll get to that. So real quick, I just want to cover the bases of what we have so far. And so the questions and answers are super addictive. I like lay in bed at night and answer a bunch of questions, and then my fiance wakes up in the morning and she reads my comments and replies, and it's just like throughout the day, even though it's not in real time, there seems to be a like no matter when I check it, there's usually someone's left an answer, someone's left a comment. There's an outfit available now. There's a thing to do. So it usually has something to have like a social like aspect to it. There's questions to be asked, and I think as more people get on the app and more friends and stuff are added there, there'll always be more to do. About the friends thing, I want to cover that real quick. That's probably one of my biggest complaints so far is the friend aspect. Um, or not even necessarily a complaint, just I don't know exactly how they could handle it, but when I first got it, everyone that had Miitomo that was on my Facebook friends or a mutual Twitter follower, I added. And there's a few people, when I get a fan request on Facebook, for the most part, I usually accept. If they go to my school, if they went to high school with them, if they're a coworker, if I met them at an event or something, for the most part, I accept them unless it's like some crazy, like, I don't know, like just some foreign name with one mutual friend, and the one mutual friend is another person I barely know. It's like, okay, something's kind of fishy here. They seem like maybe they're not like a real account, or some, like, what is it, like the Nigerian prince that's looking for some money. Like, I usually don't accept them. But for the most, I'm getting at is that I have lots of acquaintances on Facebook that if you were to ask me, do I really, really know them? No. I know of them. I've seen them around. They're just a Facebook friend. And with Facebook, with people like that, I hide their notifications. If someone is an acquaintance and they're posting all the time and my feed's being cluttered up with them, I'll hide them. Or Facebook nowadays has all those algorithms to be like, you know what, we noticed that you mainly like Zach's posts and Michaela's posts and this post, or you really check out the kind of funny face group a lot. So we'll put a lot of that stuff first when you log in, and then the other chronological stuff will be later. And Twitter's doing the same thing, and there's rumors of Instagram doing the same thing, where it's just like it's very tailored to the people that you like the most. And with Miitomo, when I first got it, because I wanted the coins and because I wanted the most out of the game, I accepted everyone that was getting Miitomo, including those acquaintances. And I found that the game really started to get a little diluted because it was like, oh, this friend that I haven't talked to since 2008 answered one of their questions and it wants me to comment on it. And I'm like, I don't want to comment on that person's questions. But like, my little me didn't have any other option besides talking to that person unless I like willingly went to your room or to my fiance's room or something like that. And it started to kind of hamper the experience. And so I ended up just kind of purging my inbox already and being like, all right, I don't really like, we don't talk very often, and I don't
hmm
have a lot of interest in your questions, so I'm going to delete them and stuff. And then that kind of brought me back down to five or six friends, like you, your fiance, my fiance, her best friend, a couple people that I used to play Smash Bros with, and it's just back down to kind of a small group.
yeah,
And that's nice and not nice because it hampers the experience a little bit when you only have like the same few people. But there's also, I don't want it just to be the people that are limited to my Facebook. And I see people like Brian and Pear and Jose from Nintendo Voice Chat. And then I see like some of the people in the kind of funny group. And I see other like celebrities and stuff online, or people that I follow on Twitter, but they don't follow me back. And they're kind of an elevated status above me and stuff. And I want to see what they're answering and stuff. And, um, and be a part of that discussion, but no, I can't because we're not friends. And it would be nice for there to be either like a follow button or even a way to exchange friend codes, because these people that are these celebrities are perfectly willing to be friends with someone, but they may not want to follow me on Twitter. Like,
yeah,
it'd be a lot of people are like on forums and they're saying follow for follow, follow for follower, friend me and I'll friend you and we can be Miitomo friends.
hmm
And ironically, it'd be nice if we could go back to the old Nintendo way of doing things where you had those friend codes in addition to Facebook, Twitter, and
yeah.
stuff. Because
Does
for
the QR code? I'm not for sure. I haven't tried it, but does the QR code add a friend, or how does that thing work?
the QR code basically allows you to download someone else's me
To
in that
use.
form. Yes,
I see.
to use for Miifoto.
Yeah.
I think to maybe even use, people said like you could use that as your me character.
Yeah.
It's like if you wanted to make your character look like Donald Trump, he could put out a QR code of his me, and you could download that. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same thing with Tomodachi Life. Was I spent a whole afternoon scanning in QR codes to
Uh-huh.
fill up my Tomodachi Life apartment, um,
Yeah.
and that
But
was nice. And
and
so,
I've done that too. I've done that to fill up. I think I did it for Smash Bros. Is what I did it
oh
for all
yeah,
those
yeah,
characters, and I just thought, that'd be a really good way if there was any way they could use that to also add friends or have a separate QR code for friends adding. But it also
yeah,
makes me think in that situation, like you say about acquaintances and stuff. I was thinking, isn't that one of the aspects of Miitomo that they're trying to
avoid.
push with it?
Oh,
Isn't that what they're trying to go for in a lot of ways? Is that the people like when you add your fiance or me or my fiance or mom or dad or somebody like that or your close friends who you play Smash with sometimes, it's like a lot of the answers, you're expecting a lot of
that's
them,
true.
but when you have someone that you haven't spoken to in years, and maybe it somehow causes you to reconnect in some way, or think, oh, wait, I haven't talked to them about that, or I'll leave a comment on one of their answers, and then we start engaging in a conversation again. And also, it seems, since it's so friend based, like authentically, maybe acquaintances or people that you have on Facebook or people that you actually are more likely to know. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's necessarily built around the idea of adding celebrities and high profile people
That's true.
to like see their answers, which is a fun aspect, and certainly I don't think like there's any reason it couldn't be used for that, because I don't think there's definitely like you must use this for this reason and all that, but
Yeah.
I don't think that Nintendo's intention, maybe releasing it, was to have it be
And
used
that's
that way.
true. That's a good point because they do actually, I guess there is a compromise in there where someone like me would like to follow a celebrity of some sort to see their quirky answers, but the celebrity doesn't necessarily want to see mine. But I guess Nintendo does open the option to have lots of sharing, which is surprising how much content like is shareable with Miitomo compared to a traditional Nintendo game where
Yeah.
they even have a format for if you want to share your answer, it's not just like the text, it is a full out your me has a special face for the question. The background reflects it. Like if it's what's your favorite food, the background is all hot dogs and stuff. Like
Hmm.
it's very tailored to that. So maybe that was their kind of compromise of like, all right, you want to see celebrity answers, we'll let them share them as they see fit.
Yeah.
I just wish there was maybe a more um, intuitive option in the app to
Hmm.
view, to follow people and view their stuff besides going on a third party app like Twitter and following and then finding their answers and filtering out between what other tweets are they doing and stuff. Like I'd like to just see their Miitomo posts, but
Yeah.
and maybe they'll add something like that in the future. They do have Twitter integration there pretty well. And yeah, with the whole acquaintance thing and that concept of reconnecting with people, I know they have pushed that in the past, and it is a kind of a cool perspective. I think my problem is it's just my acquaintances that maybe I haven't connected with in a while. This aren't nearly as interesting as
Yeah.
like some of the
Yeah.
stuff that you're leaving. Where like, um,
Yeah, definitely.
you'll put some thought into your answers and stuff. And even my fiance, I'm super happy that she's actually like really putting in some like cute answers and clever answers and stuff to make it so like the me does something or like so it's actually like a kind of fun topic and stuff. It's like encourages response and comments and funny giggles and stuff. Then I had some other people that were just like, "What's your favorite food?" And they're like, "I don't know, maybe pizza." And then like the next answer was like, "What did you do the other day?" And like, "Oh, I went to work." And it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Like that's not reconnecting in the way that I wanted to reconnect. And so um, maybe I should have gave them some more time before I deleted them. Maybe I can add them back. I'm not too sure. That's more of a personal thing, and definitely not a complaint really, or a valid complaint against the app because it does set the stage to play it really however you want. If you want to connect with just your friends, you can reject. It doesn't automatically import your Facebook friends. If you want to make it so it's all your acquaintances, you can add them all. If you want to make it so it's all that, I just wish there was like a follow option where you could have a one-way relationship with a celebrity of your choosing, similar to like what the PlayStation Network does with, um, like if you want to follow Greg Miller, you can follow him, and he's not your PlayStation friend. Like he won't um, be able to see when you're on and stuff and pop in with your games, but you can see when he's on and what games he's playing and what trophies he has. And so maybe sooner or later they'll add a follow option because I think they even talked about this on Nintendo Voice Chat. There is a lot of Tomodachi Life marketing based around the fact of Shaq plays this game and we have Beyonce in Tomodachi Life and you can get their QR codes here. Like they really go for that kind of quirky, awkward celebrity endorsements with stuff, and I'm surprised they didn't push that more at Tomodachi Life. But yeah, so those are the basics. But moving forward into kind of what we want, or I guess that's kind of already is a segue into what we want out of the game moving forward. You had mentioned that there's lots of more Miitomo drop things being added. It seems almost daily, um,
Yeah.
or Miitomo drop items and clothing and stuff.
hmm
Um, what would you maybe like to see with some of those? Like, or how are you enjoying Miitomo Drop? That's a
I think it's a really cool little mini game thing. I'd like to see maybe a similar, like a different game. Like I want them to add some more. And it doesn't have to be like Miitomo Drop is a perfect little simple thing. And if they stick with just Miitomo Drop and add all these little different kind of pinball-esque like
yeah.
rooms to go through. That's pretty cool. It'd just be kind of fun if they added a couple more mini games that just set up some just slightly gameplay different variables so that I don't know, that'd just be cool, I guess.
Hmm.
It's not really something that I really desperately want, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think that they've done a really good job with that. It's so based around just the questions and answering. It's kind of cool that there even is a small gameplay element involved
Yeah.
to it. But you know, I could, I definitely think that it's important that it's there. I was about to say that I could probably live without it, but I don't know about that. I think that
You don't know if
it's
you
an
could live without it?
without the Miitomo drop. I don't know. I think it's like a important element there. I
Yeah.
guess I could. I didn't use it actually until today was my first time actually using
Really?
Miitomo drop because I didn't even because I had to figure out we've had it for a few days now and I've just been figuring some of the stuff out, getting my like I had to read the through some of the frequently asked questions and stuff just to make sure I figured out where everything was, how to if there's a certain thing like editing my pitch of my voice a little bit. I went a little bit lower on mine
Hmm.
because I set it a little bit too high and finally learned oh Miitomo drops like in the shop because I had seen like there was a couple little mini games or something called Miitomo drop and I was like where exactly is that, so I had to go and see that it was actually like below the shop. There's a whole bunch of different options and so, I mean, I've been using it for several days now, I guess is my point, that without the Miitomo drop, without using it. But I remember thinking like this whole time that I have been playing it, I know that there's some sort of little mini game aspect that I just haven't got to yet. And that makes me like there's some part of me that's like satisfied just knowing that I can go play a little something in there, a little ditty, and it's not all strictly just answering questions and changing my clothes. That there are these little extra elements here and there. Like I think every little element they've added is almost kind of a really important thing, like the Miifoto,
Yeah, me
and
photos.
all these all those things, all the different adding clothes every single day, the little check in and get your game tickets and coins and all that. I think every little element they've added adds to the experience, and if they've and it's just like it's all perfectly put together in that way
Hmm.
that they could expand it, but when you start taking things out, maybe it starts getting a little too light. Like it's a really light app in its essence, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to like see what features I
Yeah.
could go without, and
Yeah.
it's easier to see what I would like to see expanded, which is like the gameplay thing.
Yeah, I would love to see more, obviously different Miitomo drop themes like that. Right now, there's a really heavy emphasis on cats, which makes sense because they just love cats in Japan, especially. Really big part
Yeah.
of the culture over there, and over here in the West. I mean, we have our fair share of cat videos online. Like it's not exclusive to Japan, but I mean, I went to the Zen box this past week and had some authentic Japanese food. And you walk in there, and there's a cat statue from like I recognize it from Super Mario 3D World. They have cats on the walls. I mean, they just love cats. And so that makes sense. And I honestly, I love having my little cat thing that I won in Miitomo drop hanging on my back. Right now, his name is
Yeah.
Lint. His last name I will not say here, but but yeah, he's my little
Did you
cat
take
pet.
my idea for the last name?
Maybe I'll think about
Okay.
it. We're still deciding, but yeah, and so I love that, and I would obviously they're going to add different clothing options in the future, and they're going to probably add those through Miitomo drop. I'd like to see, yeah, kind of maybe like a Miitomo pinball, a Miitomo,
Yeah, exactly.
um, I can't even think maybe of like maybe Miitomo golf or something where you just like kind of like flick your finger or something, and like you go and try to get a different hole or something, or I don't know, Miitomo basketball. Like there's so many like little apps and stuff, and when you think about it in that sense, it really starts to become just such an over encompass, like kind of like that whole, it's like me sports almost, only me mobile, where it's just every sort of online mobile game with a me skin in one app with a social networking thing. Like it becomes this really ultimate mobile game package where
Yeah.
sooner or later you won't need any like almost any other Nintendo app or mobile app. You'll just need Miitomo because
Yeah.
if you want to play this kind of game or a puzzle game or a flick game or a kind of tactics game, like maybe it seems like their goal is to expand this. Like Bill Trendon had an interview with IGN where he said we really like we already have money being poured into developing this going forward.
Yeah.
And right now, I think as a package it stands. But the one thing that I think is missing is, like I said, that follow button. I'd like more different clothing options in Miitomo drop and different themes beyond the cats, which they'll get to. It's that whole classic Nintendo thing of like you can only play this much Animal Crossing a day. You can only play this much a day. Like they don't want
Hmm.
you to binge this game. They want you to check in on it, answer a few questions, do the daily Miitomo drop, check out the store, maybe buy a new shirt, move on. Like they
Hmm.
don't want you to sit here, and that kind of reflects in the battery life, which um, the improvements I'd like to see is it's interesting that they don't have any sort of way to customize your apartment. And we've talked about that in previous Koppai podcasts and discussions and snippets that
Yeah.
it seems like it always seemed like there wasn't a way to do that. It seemed like it was always a generic apartment compared to Tomodachi Life.
Hmm.
And lo and behold, the game doesn't have any sort of way to customize your apartment. I've noticed that it is different, I think, based on your personality type.
Hmm.
If you're more easygoing, if you're a charmer, there's different sort of styles and stuff.
Interesting.
When I went to my fiance's home and checked out her thing to in Miitomo, to check out her stuff, like here, real quick, I'll open it up. Kayla, her room has yeah like a red carpet, like a red plaid carpet. There's red paint on the walls, and her style level. Oh wait, she's an outgoing trendsetter. And outgoing is in red and trendsetter is in pink, and her room really reflects that.
Yeah.
And then I go to you, and I think you and I are the same style, and we have
Yeah.
like that green kind of room, right? Like kind of like a
Yeah.
basic, yeah, green. And once again, your profile your thing is an easygoing optimist, and so I mean that makes sense to have like a calm green room, and you're the easygoing guy. And so I think maybe that reflects it, or maybe it's just completely random. Maybe it's because she's a girl. Maybe it's based on your favorite color, which I don't think Miitomo ever asks, but normally me services do. I'm not too sure, but it'd be nice. I mean, that's just another way for them to encourage microtransactions, which in themselves are very subtle in this game.
Yeah.
Um, it's another way. It's another daily thing for you to check in on. It's another thing for you to spend your coins on, and it seems like it'd be relatively simple to just reskin the little box that you're in with maybe a star, like a star galaxy wallpaper, or maybe something more ice
Yeah.
themed, or flowers on your floor, or something like that. Like people would jump all over that, and it would encourage visiting other people's rooms, doing more
Yeah.
discussion with them, and all that. Jose from IGN and Nintendo Voice Chat also mentioned that in Tomodachi Life there was accessories you could buy for your Mii. Like I bought my Mii, I think a laptop, and I'd walk in and he'd be typing on his laptop, and there's
Oh
just
yeah.
cute little immersive things like that that like I could buy my Mii different toys, and he would basically be playing them when I'd visit him,
Yeah.
and it just added a little bit of life to him. Or like I got him, I think, a Wii U, and I came in and he was playing the Wii U with his friends.
Hmm.
And in that regard, I'm very impressed with Miitomo. That does seem to channel a lot of that from Tomodachi Life, where I walk in and Right now, my fiance's best friend is over in my room, and we're talking about my other friend who I used to play Smash Bros. And we're giggling and laughing about him. And it's just like you can just imagine what they're talking about, and it's just silly stuff like that. And then you click the thought bubble, and you find out that they're actually talking that his favorite thing to eat is mac and cheese with ketchup. I don't know. It's just like random stuff like that, and it's like that's what you guys are giggling about, and you go
Yeah.
forward, and then it gets back into that whole gameplay loop. Which, and kind of in some closing thoughts, I think the app has a ton of potential. I think
Hmm.
it already hits all of the right notes that I kind of want in a social networking mobile app with the whole quirky conversation, everything I thought it would be with just that kind of wacky Tomodachi life, but with your friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's very intuitive, addictive, and satisfying. And also, not only that, but rewarding, where I think as of today I have over 1,000 platinum coins. I just through playing Miitomo this week, I have a new game now. I can go play the Zelda Picross, or I can decide maybe to get the WarioWare Touch for the 3DS. And I think there's a few other options and stuff. And it's just crazy that I mean, through investing in this game, previously there hasn't really been much reward for a Nintendo game beyond just you played the game, where trophies and achievements were on the other platforms. I've gotten enough coins now to get a free game, which is like a almost tangible reward for playing and answering questions. And
Yeah.
um, so it has all of that, and it has rewarding things. And I wanted to get into a little bit more. I've been doing a lot of study right now in my media classes that I'm taking at my university about the social media theories and stuff that are out there. And there's like a whole theory behind the social cognitive theory and the uses of gratification theory, and how all these culminate and like encourage people to keep playing. And it's interesting to see that Miitomo kind of hits all of those. Like there's the whole concept of have people put input in, but then have an animation, and then have people get rewarded. And it's like Miitomo checks all of those and stuff. And
Yeah, definitely.
it'll be interesting to see how Nintendo really pours into this concept moving forward, and how they try to get with the modern times of the media age moving forward. Because it seems like I'm taking these classes right now, and we're talking about these social theories, and it's just interesting to see how Nintendo is starting to do them better than anyone else, I would say. Where it's
Yeah.
just like they are finding ways to connect you and engage you and hit all those right notes that like are literal like neuro synapses in your brain that just like, oh, this feels good to do that. And it's one of those things where it's like even people that I have heard complain about the app are still playing it though.
Yeah.
And I wish we could talk more about we're running
That's one of the things about Nintendo too, is that people say is that they inherently, since the beginning, really Nintendo has often been about hitting those neurosynapses and stuff and
mm,
making you feel pleasure. And a lot of people have always said that about when you talk debating Sony and Xbox and versus Nintendo consoles, that Nintendo still always has that charm and that like really root um, fun, playfulness,
mhm.
and all that. You know, you're not um, sad and usually and feeling as reflective, you know, and maybe angry or all those feelings. It's usually a feeling of like cathartic,
Yeah.
ethereal, like pleasure and like happiness, and you're smiling, big grin on your face, and you feel satisfied, rewarded,
Well,
and
yeah, here real
all that.
quick. I was looking up before we started the pod or the review discussion, the uses and gratifications theory, and basically it's an approach to understanding why and how people actively seek out specific media to satisfy specific needs. And the Wikipedia article says that this communication theory is positivistic in its approach, based on the socio-psychological communication tradition, and focuses on communication at a mass media scale. Related theories include the media system dependency theory and the social cognitive theory, which explains how people connect as individuals and how that influences their environments and behaviors, which is very, very related to Nintendo. Um, it that the social cognitive theory reflects basically why people become more violent when playing video games, but also how people can become more connected and become more joyful through playing video games, which Nintendo really hits. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear how Miyamoto has even talked about those theories in the past when There was like that rise of banning on video game consoles as a whole because they were too violent. And Miyamoto was a like very advocate person against that, or a very
Yeah.
strong advocate against that. And so to kind of wrap up the discussion, it's interesting to see how Miitomo is a reflective game of where Nintendo's at in 2016, where their focus is at, and I think overall that's a beautiful, spot on focus. Like it's on connecting people, on being intuitive, and on bringing people that aren't normally in a gaming culture into the gaming culture and keeping them there with fun controls, gameplay, and rewards. And it's also very much so fan service to classic Nintendo fans, and will no doubt serve them well moving forward. And so I want to give, we have our Koppai review scale here of either a
Hmm.
gold Koppai coin, a silver Koppai coin, or the Koppai bronze. Gold being masterpiece. You got, or not necessarily masterpiece, but like masterpiece, amazing. You gotta play this game. We gave Pokken Tournament a gold coin because it's very much so um, a solid entry in the Nintendo catalog. It's a exquisite fighting game, a must-play fighting game, especially for Pokemon fans and for fighting game fans. Um, Miitomo, I would want to give a gold, but there's a few things I feel like are holding it back specifically from being like that end-all be-all game because I don't know like if it's
I also feel to some degree that it has the Mario 64 kind of curse in a way, where Ocarina of Time was the 10 out of 10 game,
uh-huh.
and Mario 64 was not quite like it was still it was so early that it wasn't quite perfect in a way. It was like it was almost there, and really it is a perfect game in a lot of ways, and it got I think at 9.5, and I'm saying that it's kind of that where I think that where Miitomo still has some ways. I wouldn't say that this game is the masterpiece of Nintendo's mobile journey. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that it's the end of it or like the ultimate example of what it's going to be. And so um and I think that was kind of the case with like Mario 64 and then when Ocarina of Time and really blew came and really blew it out of the water and really innovated in so many insane ways,
Hmm.
things that we had never seen before, despite Mario 64 also doing a lot of really innovative things. When Zelda came out, it was like it was completely revolutionary,
Hmm.
and I still think that's to come. And so I think that Miitomo kind of sets right on the edge of silver, right before gold, and I think I'd
Yeah.
probably settle with the silver
Yeah.
just because it still has some room to grow.
Yeah, I was that was my like when we were talking earlier on Facebook, like are we gonna give this game a coin or are we gonna give it a review like solid verdict and stuff? Because is it a game? Is it I mean what is it? And it is a game. At the end of the day it is a game and it is a Nintendo product that we probably should review. And at the time of messaging you, I had said in my mind silver. Like it's I can't give this gold
Me
because there's
too.
several things that like I want it to keep doing and I want it to. That being
Yeah,
said, like you said, I think it has the potential to evolve into a gold game if they
yeah,
add in apartment customization, if they add in some maybe more features, and also as it develops and as more people get involved in it, and as it becomes kind of a community thing, and as we see Me Photos evolve, it could become a game that we look back on and we're like, that was the start of the mobile initiative of Nintendo, and that
yeah,
is like a Koppai Gold, like clear winner, you know. And
yeah,
so as of now, I think it's silver. That being said, if you have a mobile phone, get me Tomo. If
yeah.
you, I mean, there's it's free.
Yeah, I think we should also mention too maybe that we were potentially discussing doing this review discussion in like a week,
Hmm.
or we were just thinking about maybe delaying it a bit, and for the reason of this is a game that definitely does evolve over time, and it's kind of hard to. It's kind of like Splatoon when that initially came out and got not perfect reviews, but now it has become a perfect game, and kind of
Hmm.
how we're talking about.
Oh yeah, Splatoon
I just
is a
thought
good example. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's kind of what we're talking about now too, where it's like it still has some room to grow, and also it's one of those games that is inevitably going to continue growing. And so this score, it's kind of at the moment, it's a silver, and it's definitely open to grow because this is not one of those games that comes out and is just released, and maybe it has a few
Yeah, it's a
patches or something to
platform.
fix it. It's a whole platform in itself. So yeah, definitely I think it has room to get up there
Yeah,
into that gold
the
ranking.
Miitomo we're playing in a year, and
Yeah.
especially the Miitomo that we're playing when we have the NX console, and
Yeah.
when we have that completely unified Nintendo system of like gaming console, phone, mobile, website, desktop computer, like everything, the Miitomo we're playing at that time will be way different and will
Yeah.
be way better. Like there's no doubt that it's just going to evolve for the better. And I stand by. I've made very like kind of bold claims. I think in the past that Miitomo will be like a social phenomenon, that it'll be a very huge success, and that I mean success in the way of like people be playing it, people be loving it, and it'll catch on. And I still
Yeah.
stand by that. I think it'll have to grow, and I think there'll be ebbs and flows where people are playing it a lot and people are playing it less. But I think it's going to be. I mean, we've already seen it with Miifoto this weekend, and it's the first weekend, and we've seen memes being recreated. We've seen
Yeah.
people doing clever pictures. We've seen
Yeah.
inappropriate ones. We've seen funny ones. We've seen things that you can do with the Miifoto tools that I didn't even think about doing, and people are doing
Yeah.
them where they're adding in certain depths of field and replacing me heads with certain things. There's questions and answers and threads and
And honestly,
discoveries and just
honestly, sorry.
yeah.
I was gonna say,
Oh
honestly,
no,
when you think about it, those are two basically separate games that they could have done Miifoto as a separate app totally,
oh wait, you're cutting
and
out a little
could
bit.
have.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me all right? Am I
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
was just
Now I
saying
can hear you.
that.
I just
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just saying that I think Miifoto could have been a separate app completely, and that they really did a nice thing by putting these together and putting all these elements together, that they could have easily made some more money off of if they would have done a separate app completely where Miifoto is there, and then you do this questions and answers app and just kind of go double on their downloads and double on their
yeah.
media attention. But instead, they put them together, and it seems like they're cramming even more stuff just into one single game, which is really nice.
Yeah, it seems like it's, I mean, just like Facebook, just like Twitter, just like Snapchat. Snapchat seems to be a really good, like, relevant example of like all the stuff you can do in one app, where it's messaging, GIFs, stickers, all of that. Miitomo seems to be doing that, and yeah, it's just Mi Photo. We could have a whole separate review discussion almost on it, and it's just yeah, you have something like that.
Yeah,
You have something like Miitomo drop. It all is a very good package, and it's only going to grow. And so, I think it's definitely going to continue to be a social phenomenon. I have people talking about it, playing it, and contributing to it, and being addicted to it, that would never play a mobile game, that would never play a Nintendo game, and I want to have a discussion maybe even in Koppai. We're gonna record Koppai tomorrow on Sunday, and it'll go live next with along with this review discussion on Monday. So we don't know exactly what we're gonna discuss there, but I want to talk about how the Mi brand is also going to relate to the NX, because we've heard Nintendo say that the Wii brand is going to be dropped with the NX because they don't want to have that confusion anymore. The Wii brand has arguably overstayed its welcome, but it seems like
well, the Wii name anyway,
yeah,
right?
but
Or not? Is not the
and so like it's the NX is not going to be called the Wii 3, or like it's going to be
yeah,
called like another name. But it
yeah,
makes me wonder if they're not dropping the me side of things, because you have
yeah,
Miitomo, you're going to have Miiverse still, and it makes me wonder where that brand's going to go. And so it's interesting to see this come about, because it's a whole new step for Nintendo, and I think it's a very good first step. And so we'll give
yeah,
it the Koppai Silver. Very definitely a potential for gold, and also yeah, it's free, so you should go download it, try it for yourself, and our advice would be give it some time, give it a couple days, and invite your friends, add your friends, and really try that out, and try out everything
yeah.
the app has to offer. Really kind of mess
W-
with Me Photo in such a way, because it has a quirky charm to it
yeah,
that we've talked about with Nintendo, that um, can maybe be hard to get at first, but once you get into it, you can't stop. And
yeah.
so,
And with a friend, like you have to play it with a friend.
yeah,
Without a friend, it's not even worth really playing. So you're not gonna enjoy it if you don't have a friend that you
mm,
add or anything. Because when we played it off of like when you got it off of the Japan eShop or iOS store, and I got it off of the some website early, it wasn't. It was cool to kind of click around and see what it was about, but it wasn't. You weren't really playing it yet
Yeah,
until you add those friends. So it's really important that you connect to Facebook and Twitter and add somebody to it.
yeah. And so that's all we have to say though. There's always more to say. We could always talk more. I mean,
I kind of wanted to throw out
I'll go ahead.
before we go. It's kind of slightly unrelated, although I think they could add into Miitomo some element of this if they wanted. But I'm really hoping in the future some sort of mobile game or some element of their mobile games. I think that a Mr. Game and Watch
Oh yeah.
mobile title would be really interesting because of how I was even thinking about if they did it in Miitomo, um, like there's that Mr. Game and Watch classic game where you have to hold up the planks while people walk across, and it gets like
Yeah.
really crazy and hectic after a while. And I was thinking like you could have play coins or something like that, um, or and shop money while you play something like that. And the controls are very simple. The graphics are very simple. It's very retro. Um,
Yeah.
you don't need really that tactile feedback. So I was thinking Mr. Game and Watch would be a perfect mobile title. Hopefully, maybe one day we see
Yeah.
something like that because it'd be super addicting. They could have the elements to tie into a reward system with My Nintendo. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because it was just kind of an idea that sparked in my head while we were having this Miitomo discussion that
Yeah.
the Mr. Game and Watch games, I always really liked some of those very simple, intuitive, very basic gameplay, just clicking left and right, basically down, up, and I think that it would just somehow work really well as a mobile title.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to throw out that I thought of while you were saying that, well, one real quick to comment on what you said. Tomodachi Life does kind of have like little quirky things like that. They have like um, guess what this object is or guess who this person is, and they're all pixelated, and like it just has their me face. You have to guess who they are while they're pixelated or just their silhouette. I can imagine them
Hmm.
adding things like that. But yeah, Mr. Game and Watch,
Yeah.
I think that'd be served better as a separate app, but um,
Yeah,
it'll be
definitely.
definitely interesting to see what they add as far as Miitomo games in the app. The other thing I was
Hmm.
going to add to clarify or to I guess as a solution that I kind of had an oversight with was with following celebrities and adding celebrities without them being your Facebook friend or a Twitter follower. I guess there is the face to face adding function, which that'll be cool to see how that works when you have PAX and E3 and you have Reggie going around and adding
Yeah.
people and you have Miyamoto going around and adding people face to face with Miitomo and
Hmm.
how you can be their friend and they maybe delete you after a while or something because you can
Bill
yeah,
Trinan.
Bill, be our friend. Add,
Yeah, be on the
be
show.
on the show. Follow
Where is he?
Koppai Media, and we'll be your friend. Um, yeah, I wanted to find a way to sync that up, but I think it automatically synced up my Kaz Risk Twitter, so it didn't sync up the Koppai Media one. So
Hmm.
all these gaming companies and celebrities are going to start following Koppai Media soon as we start blowing up. I won't get to be their Miitomo friends, but that's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely go get it, pick it up, and let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed, also be sure to leave a like, click the subscribe button, or if you're listening on iTunes, click the. I think there also is a subscribe button there to get our feed, get um, our content, our weekly podcasts, our discussions when a new game comes out. And if you're on SoundCloud, I think you can follow us there, like the track and all the things like that. I think that's where you can find us. Also, find myself on Twitter at KazRisk. You can find Mr. Koppai at ZachRisk. And you can follow Koppai Productions as a whole on at Koppai Media. We are going to be tweeting out a whole bunch of me photos.
Hmm.
We're going to be tweeting out our answers and stuff. We already have one of Zach's up there that takes a pretty dark turn. We have some of our memes that we've done that we think are kind of silly and fun and cute to share. And we also post all of our content that we make on that Twitter. So you can follow that, share those things. If you do share anything with hashtag Koppai, or if you subscribe and follow us on Twitter or follow us on SoundCloud, you are entered to win 2 amiibo for the month of April. This is not an April Fool's joke because it's Monday, so April Fool's is over. We will give you 2 amiibo if you win that giveaway, and all you have to do is like, subscribe, follow, stuff like that. So that's also awesome. And if you want to help support us to make more content, to have more consistent discussions, reacts, live videos, let's plays, higher quality, so that there isn't a moment like today where Zach cut out for a little bit and we had that awkward moment of, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because we'll have our own studio. You'll support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Koppai Productions. For just $1, you will get a 1 hour Pokemon 20th anniversary discussion. And coming up, we're going to have our April discussion, which will be a Patreon exclusive, another 1 hour long one. Maybe we'll probably be like an hour and a half because we always say it's going to be an hour, but it ends up being longer. If you give us just even $1 there, you get the March exclusive and you'll get the April exclusive. And then if you give us continuous dollars every month, you just get more and more content. It also helps us make more and really, really means a lot to us. And it allows you to kind of have a direct connection with us to be on the ground floor of Koppai Productions. There's also other reward tiers there where if you give $10, you can get more amiibo entries. And also, any patron that is supporting us by the time we hit a certain milestone on Patreon will be entered to win a Nintendo NX, even if it's not out yet. Once we hit that milestone, we'll give you a pre-order copy, or we'll pre-order one for you. And so that's a way for you to win a Nintendo NX. And if you get in now and we get to that milestone, you may have a pretty good shot at winning a free Nintendo NX just by giving us $1 or so. And so that's a pretty good deal on top of the other exclusive content and stuff like that. And so enough of the sales pitch. That's where you can find us. And if there's anything that we missed, there's probably a link in the description. And if you want to find us anywhere else, ask us. We'll respond. We have the best feedback and messaging um, in the entire internet. And so you can take that to the bank, 100% guarantee. But yeah, we're glad that we're able to talk to you. Be sure to head over to the Koppai podcast episode 16 for the week, where we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. I don't even know. Lots of news this week that happened. Some sad news, some happy news, some intriguing news, some rumors, some speculation, and yeah, lots of good stuff covered over there. But somehow we went over our half hour,
Way over.
not way over, 20 minutes.
No, we almost went for a whole other episode for you guys, a whole almost new hour of Koppai.
Yeah.
And we went pretty much way over our. I think we were gonna try to be just under a half hour,
Yeah.
and we got just under an hour. So
Yeah. Well, yay. That's how much we
yeah,
love you guys. So be sure to like and share.
it flew by
Yeah, it
really.
flew by. And honestly, once again, I feel like we could talk about more. I feel like we could talk more about Miifoto and the experiences we've had with that. And I feel like we could talk more about just my Nintendo and the reward points and all of that as a whole, and
Yeah, look forward to the
get really into the nitty
12-hour
gritty.
stream.
Yeah, the 12-hour stream. Yeah, we're planning something out right now. Actually, we want to do a live stream in May where we stream for like 12 hours, and we actually may have a partner for that moving forward. I don't think I've even told you about that, Zach. So I need to tell you about that. Where we may be able to get like not a sponsor, but like a collaboration going to get us some more publicity to help out a great cause and to um, just have fun. And so be following us on Twitter and be paying attention to Koppai Podcast to hear that update. Um, if you're listening on iTunes or SoundCloud, you can check out the videos on YouTube for that. Koppai Productions on YouTube. But yeah, I think that's everything. So we hope you enjoyed this extra long review discussion of Miitomo. We'll be having more smaller, compact reviews in the future when we get some more equipment to make that possible. Some other equipment is on the fritz, and so it's harder to do that right now, but we'll have that moving forward in the upcoming year. Depends on how much support we get on Patreon. That'll expedite the process. Yeah, until next time, thank you so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. We are grateful for your view. And I think you know what to say, Zach. Go
Five!
bye bye.
Koppai! Koppai!
Tomo. Tomo
Like, Koppai.
arigato, Mr. Koppai.
Mr. Koppai.
Mr. Koppai?
Koppai,
Yeah,
Koppai,
it
Koppai.
doesn't say Koppai right on Tomo. Koppai, Koppai, Koppai. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Long discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I'm going to head off. I'll talk to you on
Yeah,
Facebook.
talk to you
Awesome.
there.
All right, bye.